Okay, you're gonna do a install for the 2017 plus MT09 or FZ09. So first we're gonna talk about the removal of the headlamp. We're gonna have to remove this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bolts here, and we'll start off with the upper cover, which is the meter, the bolt that holds the cover behind the meter socket connector. So next we remove the socket, remove the rubber hood, and there's a tab which you just pry and just pull it off and leave the cables here. And after that we'll be moving to removing the top. Just a minute, right? So we'll be removing all the top 4 bolts. Okay, I'll be pausing and shooting so that we don't waste too much time on the video itself. Slowly pry, there's a clip right here, below here. Slowly pry it up and yeah, it will release the clip, and there's one more clip in the front. Just release that and turn this over a bit and you will see there's a connector down here. We're gonna have to remove the clip off from this part. So there's a clip on the upper side. Just pull the tab. Okay, and there's another clip on this side right here. So just I'm gonna have to pry that clip and remove. There's a clip up here, just push the tab up and then slide it out. Next we're gonna have to remove the 2 bolts on the side, but before we do that we should be removing the meter. The meter will be transferred to another bracket, as the 17 bracket is held together with the headlamp. So there's 3 bolts, 1, 2 and 3. Just remove the 3 Allen key with a 4mm Allen key, and the meter will just come right off. There's 3 bolts right here, and we'll set this aside first. And now we can go ahead and remove the 2 side bolts, 1 on each side. Make sure you don't drop the washer. And the headlights come right off. Remove the harness from the hole, and you can literally just take the whole headlamp out. Once the headlamp comes out, you'll have to remove a few components down here. Let me reset the angle of the camera a bit. Okay, you'll be having the horn wire, so technically you can remove the horn wires first. It's just 2 connectors. Okay, and you will need a long nose plier to remove all the clips. There's one here, and there's an Allen key right here, in here, and one more here. Remove the clips for the main harness first. Okay, that's loosened. And then there's one Allen key, 4mm, in this lower bracket. just remove that bolt. Okay, there's one little bolt here. There's a little metal plate. Pull the brake cable out and set it aside. Okay. Screw back the bracket so you don't lose, because this is a small item, so you want to actually put it back there. And next we're gonna remove the lower bracket. There's two 10mm. Okay, on the left and the right. You just have to remove two bolts. We'll be reusing these bolts. Be careful with the one on the left, as the horn is attached together. So hold the horn and the bracket while removing the bolt. So we'll be reusing half the horn bracket. I'll show you on the transfer to the actual bracket. And the uninstallation is done. Okay, now we're gonna have to do the meter relocation to the new bracket. Down here, this one right here is the meter bracket, and there's actually 3 rubber grommets in this particular hole. So you have to remove the grommets by just prying and pulling it out. So this is the grommets itself. So it's just prying on its side and just pulling it off. Don't be too rough on the grommets, it may break, but it's actually a very simple part. And this is the new meter bracket that's applied for the 2017 Plus. Let's set the headlamp aside. So just install, just slot the rubber in until it properly sits. Yep, like that. Okay, so there's 1, 2 and 3. These 2 holes is not the one that's right. There's a center hole here, that's where the connector goes. These other 2 holes is not for the rubber grommets, so the 3 on the outside. Okay, so we're just going to set that in. Okay, nice and tidy. And the last one, make sure it sits so that the hole is completely round. Okay, check on the other side, no pinching or folding. And once that's done, this here is the upper side, this on this side is the back side. So just get the meter and push it through the 3 holes. Okay, you can see clearly the 3 holes itself, and then use the stock bolts, the screws, not bolts, screws, and tighten them back on. And the last one. Okay, so once that's done, this will be installed on the bike. And next we're going to install the horn onto the headlamp module. This is the headlamp module supply. So we're going to install the horn on the lower side. If you look at where the bulb is, you can see the bulb right here. This is where the bulb is. So it's on one of these 2 bolts behind here. First, on the horn, you will notice there's a little small Allen key right there. Remove that Allen key. You won't be using the bolt, so you can put the bolt back onto the original bracket, so you don't lose the bolt. And then remove one, either one. This is the same. just remove either one of the Allen key bolt. Make sure that, because this is the bottom side, so make sure that the horn faces the bottom side. So just orient the horn towards the center and tighten the bolt up, and that's where you're done. Okay, we'll be back onto the bike to install the headlamp on. Okay, so now we're gonna have to install the switch unit, which is this one, right? This aluminum switch unit with a connector on the end. Okay, so you're gonna have to install the switch unit right here. But first thing first, before you install the switch unit, you have to loosen the clutch lever a bit, okay, because there's not enough space here to clamp directly, and you just have to move out the clutch lever. Yeah, just by a little bit. A minute, there's a clip right there. So yeah, right around there. We're gonna tighten this back up. Just 2 to 3 mils, yeah, just enough so that we can actually install the switch on that side. So first, remove the 2 Allen keys on the bottom side. So very small Allen key, just don't drop these bolts. Just put it at the gas cap area. And just lay the switch, yeah, somewhere around here, so to make sure that it can be installed. This is the headlamp switch. So the main headlamp is you can optionally off the main headlamp in the morning, so this will allow you to use HIDs without wasting the hours, or LEDs for all that, whichever your choice is. And yeah, this should be properly seated before we start tightening, just to make sure we don't strip the gears. Okay, then we can tighten the front, rear. Okay, so now this is where the location should be, and we can tighten up the bolt. Okay, nice and tight. So on and off switch. Then we will need to route the cables to the front. Okay, so now we are in the front. We need to route the switch harness coming on from. Okay, I need to orient the camera a bit. Right. Okay. So the switch wires comes out from behind the switch, and we are supposed to route it accordingly to where the original wires are running. So you have a tie here, a stock Yamaha tie, cable tie, which is releasable, so you can just release that and tie the wire in together, and then route the wire behind the fork and just pull out the cable all the way to the front. You can just leave it somewhere around here. Wait a minute. Sorry. we can actually route the cable out this way, so from the rear, and just leave it pass through this metal holder and cable tie the cable somewhere around here. So let's get a cable tie and tie this to this cable. Nice and tidy. Snip the tip off, and the switch unit is done. Now we're gonna go ahead to install the meter. Okay, so now we're gonna install the meter unit itself. So we're just gonna leave the meter right here, and remove these two bolts on the top. Right on the top triple, there's a bracket that holds the cable holder. Don't lose this, and don't drop it. And this one holds to nothing. This is because the two mounts are actually from the 2014, so generally they changed the design to the headlamp mount type, and then they kind of just left this empty. So what you're supposed to do is to first put back the original clamp and then line up, okay, the meter, the bolt into the hole. Slowly just hand tighten it, alright, okay, and the other one. So just tighten the bolt up. Careful not to scratch the triple or the tank. Okay, so that's done. So now the meter is done. All you have to do, take the original connector, connect the linker back into its place, run the rubber boot, tuck it in nicely, and the meter is done. Okay, so now we're going to install the headlight module. So you're going to need the two 10mm bolts, which is going to screw on the lower triple. On the lower triple to the headlamp bracket to the lower triple. So just hand tighten them on. And the other side. Just softly tighten them. Don't go for full tightening just yet. Just hold it into place, and the main module of the headlamp is already there. There's a wire right here, and there's another wire right here. Make sure when on all installation, when we put up the side brackets, we don't pinch any of this. This is the DRL wire, and this is the high beam controller. Okay, your bulb is right below. It is also a good time to put up the wires first, so maybe you're just going to do that first. Yeah, just give me a minute to get the wire. Okay, back with the harness. So this is the supplied harness. There's only a few points here. One is definitely for the switch, so make sure that the clip corresponds, and just click it in, and after that you will have the main. That's the main. This is the original socket, and this is supplied with the original plug and play kit, so you just have to plug it in, and you're gonna have that done. This is the DRL unit, which we are not using it yet, and what we need to do is to loosen the headlamp module a bit on this rear bolt, and then put the cables through in the center hole. You can make a U-turn from below and click this into place. Click the main harness into place, and then there's the blue cable here, which is the high beam. Now set everything towards the center of the bike while we put on the side panels. Okay, so we are back with the side panel. So here, if you see that you have a tab down here with two nut sets, and these are nut inserts. So this is the one facing out, so you want to make sure that this don't go on that side but rather on the right side. So there's two bolts right behind the DRLs, the two LEDs in the front. There's two bolts behind there, and the other corresponding hole is on the top of the triple. It's all on the standard mount. So you want to move the cables a bit to the outside, and then set the position in. Put a bolt here on the lower side first. Just gently hold it up and get the stock Yamaha bolt for the top, and just put it into place, and then one more on this side. Make sure not to pinch any of the wires. Make sure it's not crimping any of the wires, and you can tighten it down. Make sure the wires is all nice and loose. Okay. Okay, so we are done, and repeat this on the other side. Okay, now on the other side covers up. You want to tighten down the two bolts that locks to the lower triple. Just tighten them up nice and properly, and then that's done. So next we're going to have to install the power supply unit. Okay, in the power supply unit we'll have one connector which is white, that corresponds with this one here, and the other one corresponds to the one here. It could be either on either side, so depending on your installation. So just first connect the let me just put the bolts away. You just connect the, make sure the orientation is correct. There's a clip, so yeah, it stays there, right down there. Okay, and then we can actually connect up the LED power supply, and the bracket sits right here. Okay, so we have 4 bolts, 2 on each side. Three, 4. So just tighten them down. And now most of the wiring should be already done by now. You can actually turn on the switch, and the light should already turn on. And okay, let me just shift this a bit. Alright, so you can see that once you turn on the key switch, your light turns right on, and if you were to turn on the switch, your main headlamp turns on. Now the main headlamp is a H11 bulb. Now the reason I'm actually giving a bulb than giving any LEDs or HIDs is because that most of the lights being shipped around the world, so it's easier for you to upgrade the bulb yourself due warranty issues, because it'll be very expensive for me to be shipping bolts out from where I'm at. It could be even more expensive than the bolts itself. So the high beam does not work until the engine is started up. So I'll try to fire it up a bit. The keys are this stuff. Oh, sorry, keys really on. Okay, so I'm just gonna turn it back off, and now you get the high beam. Okay, there's a high beam mode in there. It's electromagnetic, so it is built in, and you won't be seeing the actual unit itself. Okay, so next we're gonna go and finish up all the covers and whatnot. Okay, so now we're going to install the stands for the top bracket. No, the stands for the visor, sorry. So the stands for the visor contains rubber mounts on the top here, and it corresponds to the hole right here. 2 hex. Just stand it in. The cables are not. Again, every time you install a panel, try to make sure that none of the cables are actually being crimped or pinched. That's the last thing you need for the stock harness. So, just going to do the other side. Okay, same thing goes here. And so just tighten it up. Okay, so now you have the stands for the visors, and finally on the metal bracket, this should be the last part with the logo plate. So you just have to line the holes up to the side and bolt it in. And on the other side. Okay, now that's all for the bracketing side, and now we move on to the cover sets. Okay, so now we will be installing the front visor, and to install the front visor, there's a tab down here which you have to be very careful not to lay the visor on top of the tab, but rather below the tab. And first, because the brackets may have a little bit of runoff, so first line up one of the holes first. Okay, and then go to the other side. Now there you may need to align the holes and just put the bolts in. Once that's on, you just have to do the bottom 2 bolts. Just to make sure that this part is not above, not below the visor and above the visor. The visor sits below that steel tab, aluminium tab right there. Okay, so done. Just screw this on. And after this, you can have a nice wax down of the windscreen so that it doesn't have so much fingerprint and whatnot. Okay, so we'll move to the side covers now. And now we go to the side where you have the side fang, 2 bolts behind here, mounts right behind these 2 tabs right here, brackets. So just have to line them up. Okay, line the screws up and screw them in. It's a bit tight on this area, but it's manageable. So, okay, tighten this one up. Just don't over tighten. There's no reason to really put a lot of force on it. Just kind of tighten it up, and that's done. And then we'll move on to the side cover. The side cover. Now the side cover is being held on 2 locations. Okay. One right underneath here and the other one on the side here. The 2 holes here are not used. It was designed initially for another version of Visor, which we did not release due to the low demand. The cover was a bit too low, so but we left the tab in there probably for other future releases. So just have to line up the bolts, tighten it a bit, and then the rear bolt, which is on this side. So the Allen key. Make sure that the bolt is properly seated before fully tightening them up, and if there's too much resistance, try to release the bolt back before putting it back on. And now we repeat for the other side. And there you have it, the fully completed installation of the SpeedGhoul for the 2017. Thank you.